Today, sorry about that. Our class is being recorded. And if you would like a copy of the recording, feel free to email us at help@getsetup.io. And also, we're a learning community, and ideally, we love it if you can turn your cameras on so that we can see you, you can see everyone else, but I don't insist on this. I know not everyone is comfortable having their camera on, so I leave that up to you. We will be joined today from folks via live stream. And hello, welcome. And although you can see and hear everything that's going on in class today, I always recommend that people sign up, they register for class, and that way you can fully participate in class. And lastly, Get Set Up is not paid to promote any products or services. We are a training organization. We're very serious about getting folks connected so that you can really make the most of all the classes, the social hour, the interest groups that we host on our platform. And we now offer classes 7 days a week. You can take a class that's being offered in the US, in India, in the UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand. So pretty much 24/7, we've got you covered. Today, we're going to be talking a little bit about what are Google Apps, because we do have some folks who are very new to the world of Google. Why use them? What are some of the benefits? I'm going to talk a little bit about how you can set up your Google account for those folks who might be interested in starting to work with the Google Apps. And then we're going to take a tour of the Google Apps suite. Many of you may have used one or two of the apps, but may not be aware of the other apps that are available to you. And then finally, we're going to talk a little bit about how easy it is to collaborate and share files between the Google Apps. So that's what we're going to cover today. If you have any questions, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask. I also have the chat open. You can answer or put in any questions in the chat. So very interactive today. Love to hear people's questions. I have an idea of what people's prior knowledge is, so thanks for answering the survey. Let's go ahead and just start diving in. And I'm going to ask folks to keep themselves on mute so we can just eliminate some of the background noise. So if you could just mute your microphones, that would be wonderful. Thank you. What are Google Apps? You may have heard, people saying, oh, I use Google this and Google that. Well, the Google Apps, the suite is really a collection of tools, of Google applications or programs, and they're available online. So they run in the cloud, which means that they can be used on any device. You can run Google Apps on laptops, PCs, MacBooks, desktops, smartphones, and tablets. Today, I'm actually going to be working off of a laptop, but I'll let people know how you can work with your apps also using a mobile device, whether it's a tablet or a smartphone. And so again, these Google Apps really are a collection. They're just a bundle of applications or programs that are available online. Why should you use them? So I'm just curious, anybody in class today using any other, maybe like some of the Microsoft applications like Microsoft Word or Excel? Just anyone, just curious? Yeah, a couple of folks. All right. And I usually have some folks too who who have been using some of the Microsoft, or maybe you're on a MacBook and you've used the Mac Pages or Keynote or something like that. And people always ask me, so why should I even bother using Google Apps? What's the big deal? Well, first of all, they're free. You don't have to pay to use them, unlike some of the Microsoft products. The Google Apps, and I mentioned they run online, they run in the cloud. What that means is any file that you create using any of the Google Apps they're always available on any device because they're online. So as long as you have an internet connection, you can have access to your files that you've created. Google Apps are also created around this idea of file sharing and collaboration. Very easy to share files with others and collaborate. I'll talk a little bit about this as well. Another nice feature with Google Apps, beside the fact that they're free, you don't install them, they don't run on your machine, is that they have this automatic file save feature. So they're always being saved. You never have to save a file. And this is nice to know that your files are backed up. So let's just say you created a file, maybe it was a word processing document on your laptop, and something happens to your laptop. It just goes kaflooey, it dies on you. Well, the file that you created is still available online. Nothing has happened to it. You can go to another device, log on to your Google account, and then access that file. So it's never corrupted. It's always available to you. And it's also nice too, because if you create files using any of the Google apps on one device, you can always work with them, view them, edit them on another device, maybe a smartphone. So really a lot of great features when you're working with Google Apps. And again, let me know if you have any questions. What is required to work with Google Apps? So first of all, because they run online, you do need an internet connection. Also, you're going to need to have a Google account. So Google accounts are free. And for those of you who are working off of Gmail, Google's email or Google Calendar, you already have a Google account. And so I'm going to show you how easy it is to create a Google account for those folks who might be interested in starting to work with Google Apps. So Bobby, you have a question about learning Google Docs. We don't go into using Google Docs in this class. We do have a separate class for learning how to use Google Docs, and we offer that on a fairly frequent basis. So this is more of a tour of the Google apps. We don't go into any one specific app. So sorry about that one. So let's talk a little bit about getting a Google account. When you start to work with the Google apps, you will be required to log on to a Google account, which is free. This is what it looks like. You can just open up a browser, go to google.com or google.com/accounts and sign up for an account. I'm just going to bring in another browser window to show you how easy it is to create your account. And what I've done is I've opened up a web browser. You can use any browser that you're comfortable with. And I've gone ahead and I've just gone to google.com. That's as easy as it is. You'll see that there's this blue sign in screen, button. When I click on sign in, the other option I have is I can create an account. You just simply click on create account. And then it's going to ask you, are you going to create a personal account or a business account? I think for most folks, they tend to just go with the personal account. The business account provides you with some different options. I'm not sure, does anybody have a Google business account that's on today? Anyone? Okay, you see some slightly different things when you're on a business account. That's why I asked. And so it just helps you optimize your business. It provides some additional details for you. I'm going to just select for myself. And what it's going to do is ask you to start typing in your profile information. I'm just going to type out something entertaining like Betty Boop. And the next thing you're going to need to do is when you provide your first and last name, you need to come up with a username, and this is your Gmail address. So when people start sending you email, this is where they're going to send it to. Now, tip. Google has been in business for many years. There are millions of Google accounts out there. If you think you're going to be able to use your first and last name at gmail.com, probably not. It's probably already taken. So for example, if I were just to do something like, bettyboop@gmail.com, it's already been taken. And it may give you ideas about what's available, but you're going to have to start to get creative and maybe come up with a variation of your name when you create your account. So I always just like to mention that, because for people who don't have Google accounts, there's just too many accounts out there for you to use your first and last name at gmail.com. Then you're going to be asked to put in your password. And I'm not going to create a Google account today because I already have a bunch of them, a number of test ones, but I can show you just very quickly. When you start to enter in your information and click next, what Google will do is it's going to send you a verification code. It's going to text you a code to your phone, or you can specify email. You will need that verification code to enter it into the next screen and complete your profile. And so really it takes about a minute to create your Google account. And just make sure you have a smartphone with you to receive the text of that code. Anybody have any questions? Nope, we're good. Feel free to unmute yourself. Laverne, do you have a question? You can just unmute yourself and ask away.
Okay. So I have a Gmail account. Nothing actually goes in it but like junk mail. So I don't have a Gmail account on my laptop and on my tablet. So are you saying I have to create another Gmail account when I go into Google Apps?
No, that's the beauty of this. Once you've signed up for a Gmail account, you can use it on any device. So you could go into your tablet and then just bring up Gmail. It may ask you to log on to your Google account. And then you can use Gmail on your tablet, on your smartphone, because it's one account can be used on multiple devices.
So I can do it on my laptop also.
Yeah.
But you were saying my email address, since I'm going to get a Google account. Wait a minute.
You actually have a Google account. If you have Gmail right now, you have a Google account.
Okay.
You're good to go.
So I'm sorry, my brain scrambled.
That's okay.
I just go to my laptop or my tablet and say that again. What do I do?
You just will start the Gmail app. So for example, let me just go to my browser for a moment. You would just literally type out, you could type out gmail.com from here. And then if you're on your laptop, and then it's going to, you can sign in using your Google account, your user ID and password.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Vicky, I have a question.
Sure. Hi, Judy.
Hi. Is it, I'm having a little bit of a problem with my 2 accounts that I have.
Yeah.
It's kind of interfering in both accounts. What am I doing wrong? Do I have to start with a Chrome or Google account?
You just need, are you on a Chromebook, Josie?
Not right now.
Okay.
Not right now. I'm in a Google.
Right. So if you have your Google account, as long as you log on to your Google account, you can get to the apps.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. So that's how you can create your account You'll enter your verification code, and then you'll just complete your profile. It takes, again, about a minute. Many of you have already done that. How do we start using the Google app? So if you're on a laptop or desktop, you're on a MacBook, you can open up a browser, and that's what I'm going to show you today. And from your browser, when you sign into your Google account, you'll be clicking on this icon. We call it the waffle icon. It's like a grid. And what drops down is a listing of that collection of Google apps. So I'm going to be showing you how to run it from a browser because I'm on my laptop today. However, for those of you who are on a tablet or a smartphone, what you'll need to do is once you decide on the Google apps that you may be interested in downloading to take a look at and to use, you will go to either your App Store, if you're on an iPhone or an iPad, or your Google Play Store, if you're on a Android, and you will need to download your Google apps individually to run on your device. So it just works a little differently, but the apps are the same. You're just going to access them a little differently. So let me go back one screen, and I want to show you how you can access your Google apps. Again, I am running on a laptop today, so I'm just going to sign into my Google account. I have a few different accounts, so I'm just going to pick one and log in. This is for training. So I'm logged into my Google account. And what you're seeing up here, I'm going to go to the upper right-hand corner. Let me just make my screen a little bit. Whoops. What you're seeing here is, I know you probably can't tell, but it's an icon. This is my profile. And when you click on this icon over here, your profile icon, if you want to add a photo or an image to your Google profile, you can click on that profile icon like I just did. There's a camera here, and you can click on that camera icon right over here, and then you can either drag or select a photo, an image from your device to put on your profile. So I just wanted to show that to you. The next thing is right over here is that waffle icon that I was talking about. And again, I'm on a laptop, so I've opened up my browser, my web browser, logged into my Google account. When you click on this waffle icon, it shows you that collection of Google. This is the Google App Suite. So I'm just scrolling with my mouse, and there's a whole bunch of different apps right here. And this is how you will access them if you're going to be opening up your web browser. And let me know if you have any questions about how I got there. Again, this is that waffle icon. And the next thing that I wanted to talk about, yeah, sure, of course.
If you go back one screen, there seem to be like two sections of apps.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a difference between what's in the first section and the second section when you scroll down through those?
Great question. So what you're seeing is here, there's almost like a line over here. And I would say what you're seeing, many of the apps that are down on the second section have to do with more like office productivity tools, if you will.
Okay.
And some of the ones up here might be more personal enrichment. And we're going to talk about all of these. So that's a great question. Yeah. And so just don't forget, when you click on this waffle icon, keep scrolling down because there are more apps down further along on this menu. And there's a lot of fun things that we can do here. And so the next thing I wanted to talk about was just briefly show you some of the different apps that make up the suite of apps. And I've grouped them into these loose categories to make it easier to learn about, to kind of visualize. So the first group has to do with email and calendaring. Some of you are already using these. Then there's another group that I put together called Office Suite. We have storage, some search apps, another set of apps that I grouped into communication, and then a last set that I called enrichment, for lack of a better term. So let's take a look at the email and calendaring apps. Some of you have already been using these. Here we have Gmail. And if you've signed up for a Gmail account, you already have a Google account. We also have Gmail and we have calendaring feature. And one of the things I wanted to let you know, if you're using the browser version like I am here, you can always click and drag an icon and move your icons around. If there are certain apps that you use more frequently than others, I just clicked and dragged them. So the calendar feature, also available with your Google account. What's really nice with your the calendar feature, if you're going to use it, you can share your calendar with others, and other people can share their calendar with you. And this is great if you're working on a team or in a group of folks. Maybe you're planning an event or so, and you know that you're going to have to be having like lots of meetings and calls. If you share your calendar with others, it makes it easier to see when people are available when you are sending out invitations for, events, whether it's a Zoom meeting or a call. So that is that's Gmail, that's the calendar feature. We also have something I grouped together in here called Contacts. Google Contacts enables you to not only manually add your own contacts, but you can import contacts from other applications and devices, and you can export whatever contacts you've added here to other apps as well. So that's your Gmail calendar feature, and we have classes on how to use Gmail. We offer Get Set Up classes on calendaring. The next set I wanted to talk about, and let me know if you have any questions. Let's talk about what I call the Office Suite. And I think, Sandra, you had noticed that these were down towards the bottom of the menu. So let me go ahead and talk a little bit about this Office Suite. And so I'm going to scroll down here. They're usually found, towards the bottom. So this is where we have Google Docs, Google Sheets, and Google Slides. Now, for those of you who've worked with any of the Microsoft products, or if you're on a MacBook and you've used Pages and Keynotes, Google Docs is Google's version of Microsoft Word. Google Sheets are Google's version of Excel, if you've ever used Excel to create worksheets. And Slides is Google's version of PowerPoint. Not sure if anyone's ever worked with creating presentation slides. So again, these are referred to as office productivity tools. We do offer classes on how to use all of these. A few other apps that are part of this office productivity. Let's go back down here. We have something called Keep, Google Keep. That is nothing more than, it's a notepad, and it's an electronic notepad. It doesn't have any fancy formatting like Google Docs. It just enables you to create notes, keep them, and you can also share notes with others. So that is just it's a note-taking application. The Jamboard, Google Jamboard, is a whiteboard. And let me know if anybody has any questions so far. So a whiteboard, if I was going to just click and if I wanted to just start writing, I could, let's see, I think we have a pen here. Yeah, I could literally just start writing, or I could start typing on my whiteboard. I can start drawing any kind of an image. And then I can share this whiteboard with others. They can hop onto my whiteboard and doodle on it as well. And so it's just like a whiteboard in a classroom. And so this is the Google Jamboard. That's what this is used for.
I have a question.
Yes.
I had a feeling that I mostly use Pages on a Mac for word processing,
Yes.
but I felt I had to get the Microsoft Word to be able to send documents to people so that they could open them. You're saying that I perhaps didn't need to do that?
Mm-hmm. Yep, you can. I mean, Microsoft does, if you're using Microsoft 365, I know it allows you to do some sharing now. With Google Docs are free. You can create a document using Google Docs and you can share it with one or more people.
And it doesn't matter what they've got on their machine or what type they've got, they should be able to open it.
They can open it. Now, if you want them to edit it, they will need to also have Google Docs. They can view it without being in Google Docs, but they can't edit it or add comments.
Okay, so but if they got a free Google Docs, a free Google account, and they downloaded Google Docs,
Yep, comes with
you
it.
can give them permission to do whatever you need.
Yes, exactly.
Great, thank you.
Yep, you're welcome. Any other questions? All right, just feel free to hop in there and let me know. So that's the Jamboard. It's kind of fun. So let's see what else we have for productivity. Let me just, I think that's pretty much it. The Google Docs, Google Sheets, Slides, the Keep, and the Jamboard. And that's what we refer to as the Office Productivity Suite, if you will, or yeah, Office Suite. Let's talk a little bit about some of the apps that can be used for storage. We have Google Drive, Google Photos, and Google Collections. So let's take a look at those. And I'm going to start by talking a little bit about Google Drive. Now, when you sign up for your Google account, you automatically get what's called a Google Drive. And a Google Drive is your own personal storage space in the Google Cloud. So whatever file you create using any of the Google apps, it's always stored in your own personal Google Drive. And I do teach another class on Google Drive, so I just wanted to mention this. And for me, in the beginning, when I first started using the Google apps, I go into Google Docs and I create a document or I create a spreadsheet, or, and I really never knew where things were being held, where they were being stored. Well, they're being stored in your Google Drive. Everyone has them, and each Google account has its own unique Google Drive.
And is there a space limit?
Yes, there is. Great question, Bobby. If you'll look over here, every single Google Drive comes with 15 gigabytes of free storage. Once you've reached that capacity, you can buy additional storage. It's not very expensive. And you'll notice here, this is one of my test accounts. I don't have much in here. But as you start to use up space, what's really nice about Google Drive is on this status line over here, this bar, it will start to fill up. And so visually you see, oh, you know what? I've used up half my 15 gigabytes. I better be careful. And this 15 gigabytes, that goes towards all of the files across any of the apps that you're using, including your Gmail account.
So if you buy more storage, will it be just a one-time fee or a monthly fee?
I think it's let's click on buy storage, and that's a great question. It looks like it can be monthly or yearly, so it's not a one-time.
Annually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great question.
And
So
can you delete stuff? Can you find?
You sure can. You can always delete. Whatever you delete is held in trash for, I think, 30 days, and then it disappears. So yes, you can always delete. And you can always, share files from within my drive, your Google Drive. So that is Google Drive. Lots of great questions.
Vicky,
Yeah.
question. The Google Drive, it takes only your files, not the pictures, right?
No, it'll save everything. It will save files. It will
Oh.
save videos. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. You can save anything there. Speaking of photos, there is another app called Google Photos. And what that allows you to do is store and organize photos and videos into albums. And then you can share those albums or photos with others, and they can add to your albums. Maybe you've gone on a family vacation, you collected a whole bunch of your digital photos. You can create a photo album for that family vacation, share it with family members. They can add their photos to that album and add comments and what have you. The other thing that Google Photos allows you to do is to synchronize your photos with your other devices, your mobile devices, for example, your phone. So you can upload and download synchronized photos between the Google Photos app here and with other devices. So just nice to know. I haven't used Google Photos a lot, but some students do. So that is Google Photos, another way of organizing and storing your photos. There's also something here called Google Collections. What that allows you to do is, again, it's another way of organizing your files. So for example, let's just say you're doing a home remodel project. Maybe you're remodeling your kitchen. You can create a collection called, kitchen remodel using Google Collections, and then you can store all information in one place about your kitchen remodel, whether it's websites, photos, images, files, you name it. That's where Google Collections might come in handy. And so I encourage folks to get in there and start playing and see what these do. And everything that I've talked about can be shared.
So collections, you can create folders in some.
Yeah. And then you can everything is all in one place. It's just another tool for organizing your files.
Okay.
All right. So those are some suggestions, or those are some apps used for storage. Let's talk a little bit about some apps that you can use for searching. And most of these, not most of them, one of them we know, we've probably been using a lot, the Google search. Some of the other apps that I think might be really useful for you, one's called Google Shopping. Let me show you what that looks like. With Google Shopping, I'm going to, let me read. I've searched on this before. What Google Shopping allows you to do is do a nice comparison shopping. So I just typed out Hamilton Beach Coffee Maker, Flex Brew. I could have been more specific with a model number, and it allows you to shop across, it provides different suppliers and vendors who sell this product, and you can see what the different pricing is. Do some of them offer free shipping? And so if I really wanted to be specific, I could have put, this Flex Brew and then specified, I don't know, maybe I'll do something like that. And now it's a little bit more, apples to apples kind of a thing. And so that is Google Shopping, and just kind of a nice to know app where if you're looking for something specific, whether it's a blender or a car, Google Shopping will search across suppliers. to provide you with the different pricing. And again, is there free shipping? Are there any specials going on? So that is Google Shopping, and it's another search app that's available in addition to the Google search that we've all used, or some of us have used. There's another search utility. Let me see, I'm always scrolling by. Here we go, Google Books. I haven't really used this extensively, but some of students have. Google Books allows you to search for books, magazines, periodicals. Google has scanned like 1 million or more books and articles and magazines. You can type out the title of an article, a magazine article, or a book. You can type out text, a phrase that you're looking for, and Google Books will search across their archives for it, their database, and display whatever they've found. So I had one student say she was using Google Books to search her family genealogy. So a lot of interesting things, but again, now that you know what it does, you might want to bring it up and just take a look to see how you can use it. And so that's really what today is also all about, showing you what the Google Apps suite is all about, and just what are some of the applications that you might find useful. Any questions so far? All right, I'm going to keep going. We've had some great questions already. Communication, what are some of the apps that we use for to communicate? So let's take a look at those. I'm going to bring back my Google. Let's go back here. I have lots of things open. Communication. So one of the most often used apps for communication is called Google Meet. And this is Google's version of Zoom. It does the same thing that we're doing now with Zoom. It allows you to start a video meeting, and it comes with your free Google account. And I think it enables you to have a meeting up to 60 minutes with your free Google account. And so if, we're on Zoom right now, but you might also want to try Google Meet. It's another video conferencing, if you will, or video meeting application. I'm just curious, has anyone used Google Meet at all? No, okay. Sometimes, and by the way, if you receive an email invitation using Google Meet, you don't even have to have a Google account to participate in a Google Meet call. So that's pretty neat too. So there's Google Meet. A few other apps that I want to talk about when it comes to communication. Translate, Google Translate. This is a lot of fun. What Google has done is they've translated at least 100 languages. So for example, maybe you're traveling one day in another country where you don't speak the language. Let's say you have your smartphone with you and you have Google Translate on your phone. You could type out a phrase or some words in English and then translate them into another language. And then simply, you can show someone what it is that you're trying to say. And the opposite is true. Someone can speak or type out a phrase in another language and you can translate it into English. So just a lot of fun. That's Google Translate, another one of the communication apps that are available. What else do we have? Duo. So if you have an Android phone, Google Duo will be on there. And this is Google's version of FaceTime. Anybody using FaceTime on their smartphones? Yeah, this is Google's version of FaceTime. It's called Google Duo. And actually, if you have an Android phone and you have Duo loaded, if you have friends with smartphones, iPhones, they can also load Duo on their iPhones, and you can talk to each other. You can have a video calling that way. So that is Duo. translate. What else do I want to show you? Google Classroom. Some of you may have heard Google Classroom. So this started to become very, very popular about this time last year. This is what many schools use. They use Google Classroom. So what it enables teachers to do, and it doesn't have to be used just for schools, but what Google Classroom is, a teacher can create or they can post on their classroom any assignments for their students. Students can retrieve them, they can complete them, upload their completed assignments in Classroom. Students and teachers can collaborate on their assignments. There is any kind of a notification that a teacher might need to post on their classroom, they can do it. And they also have the ability to, there's video conferencing there as well. So I call it one-stop shopping, kind of like Command Central for teachers. And that's what Google Classroom is. Do we have any bloggers in the group? Anybody writing a blog? No. All right. If you're ever interested in starting a blog, Google has their Blogger app over here. And again, they make them easy to use. They have Blogger. They also have a podcast application for anyone who might want to be interested in starting their own podcast. Again, just feel free to touch, to open these and just see what they do. It's a lot of fun. All right, what else do we have? We talked about communication. The last group is called enrichment. And again, for lack of a better word, that's what I called this group. So let's take a look at what we have in the enrichment group. I always love to show people how to use Google Earth. So let's see, here's Google Earth. And we have a class on Google Earth. It takes a moment or two for it to initialize. So what Google Earth does is it retrieves satellite images and it renders a 3D map of the Earth, of the planet, and then you can really travel around and drill down to the street level at any place. So I'm still just gonna let it go. And Bobby, you have a question about tech support. Tech support for Google. I've gotten, yeah, there's technical support for Google, sure. I'll go ahead and I'll just make mention of that in our after class notes that I'm sending to everyone.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's see. There we go. So this is Google Earth, and we have a class on this. You can literally search anywhere on the planet. Anybody have a place they want me to search on the planet? Anyone? No, nobody?
2300 Heron Hill Drive in
How do you spell that?
HERONHILL Drive in Lynchburg, Virginia.
All right, let's go here.
Oh, place, I'm sorry, place, yes.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
So just wait for it.
Because the last time we looked, it's so many trees in front of the house that it couldn't see that there was a house there.
All right, so you can keep double clicking to drill down. So just wait for it. It has to.
Okay.
It has to just redraw itself. So sometimes it depends. And some rendering is better than others. So maybe if I went up a little bit, if I just zoomed out a little bit. And so you could, anywhere in the world, you could just search on an address or on a place. I had one woman who was moving to Guam, and she's like, can you search on this village? And so I'm like, oh, it looks like it's going to be beautiful. And there's a lot you can do. Let's see if I can go back out here. When I go back out, you can just go out and just keep, moving out, and then you can click and drag and you can move all around. So it's a lot of fun. You can share your maps with others, and I highly encourage you to take the class on Google Earth. A lot you can do here. So this is fun. So we have Google Earth, a few other things here for the what I call enrichment group. Another fun thing is what we call arts and culture. I discovered this just a little while ago. And there's a lot of fun you can do. You can take a virtual tour of a museum. You can create portraits using apps. I watched a video of an artist using Google's 3D applications to create a sculpture. There's opera, that you name it. There's just a lot of virtual now, virtual ability to explore different worlds. So that's the Google Arts and Culture. A lot of fun stuff there. And what else did I want to show you? A few more things. And again, I just really, just go and explore. We also have Google Finance. And what you can do with Google Finance is you can keep track of your own portfolio, your stocks and so on. It has financial news. You can look up stock information for different companies. It's all there. Has anyone used Google Maps before? Anybody using Google Maps? If you're on, I use Google Maps too on my phone. What's really neat about Google Maps is that you can ask for different route types. So you can say, I'm traveling by car, by foot, by bicycle, or by public transportation. Okay, so that's Google Maps. And I think we have a class on that as well. And really, this is just a smattering of all of the different apps that are available. They're always adding more down at the bottom here. Sometimes they take a few off, but usually these are the general apps that are here. And now you know how to access them. The next thing I wanted to talk about was how we can share and collaborate any files that you've created using the Google Apps. So when we talk about files and documents, let me go ahead and just open up. Let's get back to Google Drive. One of the things that you can do, for example, in Google Drive, is that I'm just opening something up. I can go ahead and share a file. I can share a video. I can share a photo album. Anything that you've created with any of the apps, whether it's a collection, whether it's a whiteboard, a Jamboard, a note, can be shared with one or more people. And they make it very easy. When you're in an actual app, you have a share button, and it's always the same information. You provide one or more email addresses with who you want to share with. And then you're going to decide, are you going to make this person an editor? Can they only comment, or can they just be a viewer? And we actually have a class about collaboration, a separate class. But I just wanted to let people know that, the Google apps are built around this idea of sharing and collaborating, and everything is done in real time. So when you share a file, whether it's a photo album or a spreadsheet, any changes that people make who are collaborating with you, you see them right then and there. Any questions about this whole idea of sharing, collaborating? Okay.
I have a question.
Sure.
Mine is on Duo. Duo, I thought you could only do it on your phone. I have an Android because I thought you had to call someone in order to see them. So
Yeah.
how do you do that in a Google app?
the Google apps, that Duo, and I haven't tried it on my laptop. It probably wouldn't work on my laptop, but typically if you're on another mobile device, that's when you're going to use Duo. I haven't tried it. You know what? I do have a Google Chromebook. I'll see if it works on my Chromebook. And I'll let you know what I find out in the after class notes.
Okay.
Let me try that. But mostly, you're right. You're going to use it on your typically on your Android, on your smartphone. But let me see what happens. So, and I'll let you know. I'll put it in my my after class notes. See, I
And
love these questions.
Something else I wanted to say.
Sure.
I have on my phone, I have the translator on my phone, and I have the Google Drive, and there's something else. But I just went to the Play Store and downloaded it, and I could get it that way.
Right.
So some of the other apps, would you probably be able to do that the same way if you didn't have Gmail or?
No, that's exactly right. That's what you'll do. If you're on a tablet or a smartphone, what you'll need to do is go to either your Play Store, the Google Play Store, or the App Store, depending on if you have an iPhone or an Android, and you'll need to download the apps individually that way.
Okay.
Yep. You got it. Great question. All right. I wanted to just let folks know these are the different classes that we offer on all the different Google apps. We're creating new ones, each week it seems. I don't expect anyone to remember these, but just know that pretty much for every single app that Google offers, we do offer a class. And if there are other classes that you would like us to add to the offering, please let us know on the feedback. So if you click on that feedback button in the after class notes, that would be great, because that's how we make things better. We listen to you folks, your ideas. And so these are the classes that we offer. And you can find all of these on our getsetup.io website. Does anyone need any help finding classes on the Get Set Up website? Are folks comfortable enough finding classes? If you need any help, I'll be on the call for a little bit after class ends today, and I'll be happy to help you.
Well,
So,
I have to play with it first. It's not like I can go straight to it. Like I know what I'm doing. I have to kind of play with it a little bit before I can get to it. And then sometimes I can see the classes, but I have trouble trying to find the dates. So I have to play with it before I can, get what I want.
Okay, so let me just, I'm going to see if I can get to getsetup.io. Let me just bring this up a little bit. And so one of the easiest ways for me to find classes on the getsetup.io website, there we go. I just go to search classes. For example, if I just type out Google, what will happen is a drop down of all the different Google classes are available. And if I were to just, use Google Meet, if we wanted to see what that Google Meet was, what it does, if there are classes, we may not have any right now, but you can click on notify me. And as soon as the class is published, you will get an email. And let's see if I can, back to classes. Let me see if I can find another one.
Vicki, can I say this? Last week, I think it was, I signed up for creative writing. Well, I think it's tomorrow. Okay. But when I went and tried to find where I registered, I can't find it.
You know what? What I would do is email help@getsetup.io, and they can help you with this.
Okay.
They will contact you directly. So again, help@getsetup.io. They'll be happy to work with you.
Okay.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to try to figure that out on your own.
Go under schedule and she should be able to see her schedule under schedule.
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Let
Go under
me move
schedule and
this.
then say my schedule.
If you click on schedule,
Mhm.
and just my system is being very, very slow. My schedule.
And then my schedule. If
I
you have
might not have anything, but all of your classes will show up
Okay.
here.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you.
Clock.
Yeah. Thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks
This
a
is-
lot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Wunderbar. I'm going to go ahead and just wrap up class. I can't believe it's already an hour. Just a takeaway from today's session. Remember, Google, all the apps they run online, which means they can be accessed from any device. Your Google account is free. The apps are free to use. And any file that you've created using any of the Google apps are always stored online. They're always backed up for you. And finally, collaboration and file sharing is very easily done. So go ahead and play with the Google apps. There's a lot of fun things to do out there. And I'll be on for a couple of moments if anyone, a couple of minutes, if anybody has any questions. Otherwise, I'm just going to stop sharing. And I wanted to just thank everyone for joining me today. I really enjoyed meeting all of you, and have a great rest of your day, no matter where you are today. And Ellen,
Okay.
Sue, bundle up. Stay bundled up.
I have a question.